Hey y'all, nice to see you again. I bet you thought I wasn't coming, huh? Surprise! How's everybody doing? I did check my comments, and there are a few. And however, we have something that we're going to talk about today that's really interesting. If I can get this to hold still for me, because I don't want it to fall. If it does, I'm sorry, I'll grab it. Okay, I have notes. Some of you know that in the past, I've been a private investigator, and I was also, excuse me, I was also a 911 operator, which was a very high-stress job, but I loved it. And when I started losing my hearing, I wasn't able to do it anymore because you have to know, you have to really be able to hear. And even with hearing aids, with all the equipment you have around you, now, if I did it now with all the new hearing aids and stuff, I would probably be okay. I would probably do it now if I could. I still have my license, because you got to have a license for NCIC, which is the national, what would you call it? The national look for you. I can't even think now. Huh?
Database.
I can't hear you. See?
National database.
Huh? The national database, yes. Thank you, Bart. I don't know who has dementia, him or me. Yeah, I've been forgetting a lot lately. Anyway, because of the nature of our channel and the things we talk about, I want to be able to talk about a lot of things that happen in life, and a lot of them pertain to young people getting mixed up with the wrong people, us losing our children, our siblings, our even moms and dads at times. But so what I'm going to talk about tonight is, since I was a 911 operator, I have been very interested in being able to hear the scanner and listen for the call numbers of people I know who are patrolling the streets or doing EMS and what have you. When I was a 911 operator, it was in Texas, and that's where I have my NCIC certificate from. And so when I got back here, when we moved back to Texas for the second time, I don't know even how I found this. I think, okay, a lot of people don't know. Some of you probably listen to the scanners at home, but lately, in the last 10 years or so, they have scrambled the scanners a lot, because people would show up where things were happening, or you know, and get in the middle of it, or the middle of a scene, and then some of the people who were the bad guys, for a lack of a better word, they started getting scanners, I guess, and keeping them home or taking them with them in the car, even though that's against the law. And they would, you know, so they would know where the police were, I guess. But I happened to come across an app on Google Play, and it was a scanner app. And the way that it works is they wait until like an hour or so, and then you can, in other words, everything you're listening to is delayed an hour or thereabouts. about an hour or more. And so I said, oh, really? Because, everything's digital now. So the scanner I had was just the analog scanner. So they had switched everything to digital and, privatized a lot of it. So there's things they don't say on there. They don't tell ages of kids, stuff like that. But it kind of brought back a lot of memories, when I was doing it. It is a very interesting position. It can be very stressful, but it also can be very rewarding. And what I wanted to speak about tonight is, for the last couple of weeks, I have been listening to the scanner here. And like I said, it's delayed, but it still is the actual dispatchers talking to the officers or the EMS or the fire trucks, what have you. And boy, I tell you, there is a ton of accidents here in Texas, and I'm not kidding. I did notice, with them, they had the speed limit up to 70, and it's still up to 70 in some places, and I really think they need to lower that back down. I know people say, well, that road's not usually busy. No, it's not. But there's some people that don't want to go 70, and then when you're going the speed limit, they want to go 90, and they're passing you, and they're not watching what they're doing. They're hitting other people head on. They're killing other people or themselves, and some of them, they just get mad because they had to pass you, and they'll pull a gun on you or whatever. So I have been listening to all that for the last couple of weeks now. However, what I wanted to note for our channel was there is so many overdoses here. I can't get over it. Now, let's see. When I was a 911 operator, I would say we probably had, God, it wasn't even, oh my goodness, I don't even think I can remember, but a handful of overdoses the whole time I worked. Here, the other night, we had 4 people getting Narcan. And if you don't know what that is, that's the medicine to try to bring you back if you have overdosed. And would you believe that a lot of people, when these officers try to save their life, they become combative and they get pissed off because they think the officer ruined their high and they don't have any more left to go do nothing with until they do whatever to get some more. And so, I mean, I would not want to be a police officer. I really wouldn't. I know some people say, well, we have some that are not good people, and we do. I mean, we have judges that are full of crap. We have all kinds of people that are full of crap, and then we got our good ones, But it's really, really hard to wrap my mind around with the drug abuse, and especially when they do end up saving somebody's life, which is 9 out of 10 times those guys get there quick, and they hit them with the Narcan, and some of them, it doesn't even faze them. And there's been times that they've had to use 5 cans of Narcan on people to bring them back. And then they get mad, they start cussing at the officer, not all of them, but some of them. Oh man, you shouldn't have did that. You would not believe it. And I guess I recognize it more because it touched my family. And I don't think there's any family out there anymore that drug abuse has not touched, you know? And we are just losing so many people, not just kids. We're losing siblings. We're losing aunts, uncles, moms, dads, cousins, friends to sometimes we don't even know what they're doing, you know. And I have no idea how they're ever going to get this to stop. I really don't. And I remember when I told you one of my daughters, I think I told you, she had been getting high, and I took her to rehab, and they would only keep her for 7 days. 7 days. That was it. They said, with the insurance that she has, we can't keep her no more than 7 days, and that's not going to do it. And it didn't, you know. And it was just very disturbing to me and everybody. That affects the whole family. It doesn't just affect the mom, the dad, or the siblings. It affects that whole family. And it seems like as time goes on, even though we have the Narcan and stuff like that for to try to wake them back up, with the way they feel about those drugs, it's like that's their God. That is, I was married to a man who did that, and one day we'll get into that, because that is one story, one heartbreaking story. I met him when I was about 13, okay? And he is the father of some of my kids. And it's just horrible, the things that you go through. And especially when you, as a wife, or even a husband, I'm sure, you're not doing it, so you don't understand it, or, you know, why would you want to do that to yourself, you know? But a lot of people that I've talked to will say, oh, but I know where my kids are, you know, I know where they're at, and those people don't do that kind of stuff, and, you know, all this stuff. That could be true, and we hope it is. Although I will tell you that my daughter one time was at the home of one of her friends when I was a 911 operator. And she was about, I think, 13 at the time, honestly. And I was dispatching, and she went to go spend the night with this girl from school. And her mother had called me and told me, yeah, I'll be home. I don't work tonight. I will be home, blah, 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 blah. And her mother was a cop. Okay, her mom was a cop. So, this was years ago. And they were all partying because she was gone. She went to work. And they completely tore her house up. Everybody was just plastered. I don't know who was getting high or whatever. At that time, it wasn't my daughter. I do know that. But they did a lot of damage to her house and everything. But the only reason I'm saying that is because we all, as parents, you know, especially the ones that want to know who they're with, what they're doing, where they're going, where they're going to sleep, you know, is the parent going to be home that night, okay? So that they don't have a chance to even get into that mess, you know? And no matter how hard I tried, and a lot of other parents, these kids got into it. You know, and I guess it's just like a notice to everybody. Don't trust yourself that it's not happening, okay? Because, I mean, and I took my kids to church. I talked to them about God. I mean, yeah. But I always told them, you are who you hang with. I always said that to all of them. Even my kids that I adopted in foster care. I always said that. You are what you hang with. Don't forget, because if they're doing something wrong, the people are going to look at them and say, oh, and this one over here, she's hanging out with them too, you know. Well, I don't think that did much good, honestly. But I'm just saying that if you can get your hands on that, you can probably download it. I'll put the name of the app. It's a free app, and it doesn't clog up my phone and stuff either. But you can turn it on anytime and just hit whatever you want to listen to. Now you can pick, I think it's 5 areas that you want to get scanning from. Like I can even get scanning in Chicago by where my niece lives. And then I did some in, let's see, I did here. I did some in Florida. Some in Illinois. And I'm trying to think where else. I can't remember. But I think it's 5 separate ones you can put on there and they'll come through. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed. You will be amazed. Chases, you can hear them chases on there. I can tell you that. You can hear the chases because when an officer's doing a chase, you as a dispatcher has to sit there and you have to type in every turn he makes and every move he makes, really, while he's doing it. He has to talk about it so that you can hear him, and you have to be typing it while you're answering other 911s. It can get really tedious. But I thought I would get on here and talk to everybody about that because, you know, that's part of losing our kids. That's part of losing our relatives or our friends, and you never think it's going to happen to your family, you know. And it happens so much now. And I was thinking, Lord, I need to talk about my dispatch days and I mean, I think it was, I want to say it was Friday or Saturday night. That was probably the most overdoses since I've been listening again to the scanner on the app. I could not believe it. It was almost like every 10 minutes they were going out on an overdose. And it didn't matter where they were. In the store, at home, in the street. I mean, park bench. It don't matter where they're at. And, you know, that just goes to show that their mind is not there when they're doing that stuff because, I mean, and it don't just happen at night. It happens at 7 in the morning. It happens at 9. It happens at noon, you know. And I think a lot of people would be very surprised if they downloaded that app, they put in whatever they wanted to figure out, and it usually takes about 24 hours, I think, maybe less, to start getting those because you're going to put in where you want to hear it from, and it's going to, you know, start going, but they're not going to start putting them on until an hour before. So, but you will have a lot of them. not just with the Narcan and the police chases and the fires and, I mean, and domestic violence. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. So y'all just need to go check out that app if you're interested, or you even have any kind of a sense that this is not what's happening in the world, because it is. And most of the time, you could be a real good parent. You could know exactly where your kids are going, who they're going to be with, whatever, but that's no guarantee that they will not get mixed up in that crap. And I don't know. You know, my ex-husband, the one who's the father of some of my kids, he was doing it since he was 17. When he started doing harder drugs, I had no idea. Okay, none. And then I started finding them. And because back in the day, people still lived together, okay? And we moved in together in a little apartment, and this is a true story, okay? Very true. We lived on the third floor in this big building in Chicago, and I didn't have any kids yet. I was only like 15, I think. And so we moved in together. He didn't work. I was working. And it's a long story. I need to write my life story. I really do, because, I mean, if it'll help anybody, that's good. But anyway, okay, where was I? Train of thought. Oh, so one night, police knocked on our door. They didn't knock, they banged. And he said, don't open the door, don't open the door. And he jumped out the third floor window. I don't know where he went or nothing, but he left his wallet on the table. And in his wallet, I had no idea. When they came in, I was afraid I was going to jail just for being underage, you know. Because I told you, I grew up in the ghetto, so, you know, what can I say? But they started asking me a bunch of questions. They asked me how old I was. I lied and told them I was 19 because I thought they're going to get my mom in trouble, me in trouble. You know, my mom was sick. We'll go through that some other time. But anyway, so he jumps out the window. And they said, can we look around? I said, sure. I mean, I didn't think nothing was in there, right? So they looked in his wallet. They didn't tell me right away, but what they found was heroin inside his wallet in a little, what do you call it? Like a foil. And then they started really checking the house. And the house wasn't that big, but they were tearing the house apart. So I knew they had to find something. And the next thing I know, they come in the front room where I was with a brown bag. And it looked like it was pretty heavy. And they said, they started reading me my rights. And I was like, what the hell? I had no idea anything was even in the house. Okay? And at that time, that's how I found out what he was doing with the hard drugs. Because before that, I didn't. I knew once in a while he smoked marijuana or something. That was it. But anyway, I didn't like that either. I tried it one time and it made me dizzy, it made me sick. All I wanted to do was eat. I'm like, why would I want to do this? But anyway, so I never did it again. But So he jumps out the window, and long story short, I got arrested. Finally, the guy told me, he must have knew, because he told me, he said, I know you're not 19, so you better tell me, you know, how old you really are, because this is serious. So I told him, you know, and he was driving all over the neighborhood looking for him and everything else. Took me to the juvie home, downtown Chicago. I'd never been arrested before, never been in any kind of problems before. And so I've been through a lot with the drug situation. And that's what drove me to take a class in alcohol and drug abuse, so that I could better understand how somebody could do this. Because this was some of my kids' father, and he passed away after I left him. He passed away, he overdosed. But that's when he was 43, you know. So, I mean, he was taking that for a very, very long time. But, so, do I trust the kids' parents that my kids were going to visit? If I didn't, usually they didn't get to stay there at all. But then the people started getting all charismatic, you know. Oh, no, that's not going to happen here. You know, this and this and this. And then all of a sudden it did, you know. Or I found out that it was happening there and they never went back. But it's even worse today. Very much so. So I worry about my grandkids all the time, you know. Even though they're good kids and they work and everything else, I worry about them, you know, because kids try to get attention by keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. And I don't know, when I was growing up, I just had a very strong no. I don't know how I even got that, really. I know that my mom was very sick. She had schizophrenia, but she was so lucid at times, and she would preach to me and my brother. And she would tell us about the stuff. She would tell us what's going on in the world and this and that. And, you know, with her being sick, we were like, yeah. She was so right. She was so right. And she never did anything like that. I never seen that in my childhood. I did see her and my dad going at it a few times, but nothing major, you know. But you just have to be so careful, because there's so many ways to lose a loved one. It ain't just by drugs. I mean, you have people that get shot because they cut somebody off in a lane or what have you, you know. And there are so many ways. It's amazing. It is amazing. And that's one reason I started this channel. I just want to enlighten everybody. And I'm not saying y'all are stupid or anything like that. But I've just been through so much. And I've seen what my foster kids had been through with their parents. And I guess it really surprised me, because even the stuff I went through with their father, I just never experienced that as a kid, you know. I don't know, I guess I was still a kid, because when I was 15 and they arrested me and threw me in Audi home, which is what they call it up there, juvie, I was only there for a week. That was like the longest week of my life. It was. And when I went there, of course, they thought I was a junkie. So, but before they would even accept me, they had to have me checked. So they took me to the free hospital. And when they did, they found out I was pregnant. Yeah, that was my oldest boy, Mark, that we lived next to. Yeah. And it was hell, because I heard him telling the officer that, he said, well, is she a junkie or something like that? And he said, oh no, she's clean, but she's pregnant. I thought I was going to fall off that bed. Yeah. And now you see so many girls that are, I mean, not just today, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it's like, don't they know what they're doing to their life? Don't they know that they may not live? I mean, when we lived in Kentucky and we were doing foster care, they had a hellacious drug problem out there. And they had so many kids in foster care and not enough foster parents, just like they do now, And it's crazy. I mean, when you grow up in that, I mean, I don't see, a lot of people I know that have grown up in it, they have straightened up or went the good way or whatever. But then there's lots of other ones that I know that are no longer here anymore. And it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. To me it is. My grandma always taught me to go to church and to pray, and some of you may not, and that's your belief, so, I don't push that on anybody. And I'm grateful that I had the mom I had, even though she was sick, because I don't know, I seen everybody around me with moms that were either drunk all the time or getting high on this or high on that, or I mean, it was crazy. It was just so crazy. And like I said the last time, when you lose somebody and you love somebody, your kid, your mom, your dad, whatever, that's devastating for the rest of your life. It's devastating for the rest of your life. Now, I ain't gonna say that you don't have your moments where you're okay, but you can just be sitting there one morning having your coffee and you're gonna think about that person, or you're gonna see somebody who looks just like that person, and it's gonna bring back memories. The little girl that plays on Santa Claus, the redhead, if you guys know, what's his name? I can't remember his name now, but there's 3 movies, Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3, like Mr. Frost is the last one or something. That little redhead girl, she looks exactly like my youngest daughter did. My youngest bio daughter. Yeah. She's a dead ringer for her. And when I first seen her, it was bad. So and it's expected. It's expected from everybody, And it's crazy. And it does a lot of things to people when you have people overdosing on drugs, and it also causes people to do suicide. Many of the celebrities, they were into the stuff before they did it, and it's hard for me to even really talk about, because I don't know, I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm better than everybody. No, I'm not. No. But just if you're a younger person or you're looking after your grandkids, that is one of the hardest jobs in life. It really is. Whether it's now or 25 years ago. Because we have so many things out there that we ain't never heard of. at all. But anyway, let's see here. What do I got? Make sure I told you everything. It looks like I did. It looks like I did. And you guys, don't be afraid to put something in the comments. There's a comment that is in there. I'm not going to mention the name. And she's a young lady that, well, I don't know. I guess she's older now, but she has a real young picture on there, I think. But I don't know. But she had a little situation too that, you know, she was a foster child herself. And you can go read the story in my comments. But by the time she grew up and looked for her brother and her mother, because she was given up for adoption, let me put it that way. And then right after that, her mom married somebody and had a little boy. And she never seen them until the son ended up getting, I think better read it. I think he got killed by a drunk driver, and the mom couldn't handle it, and she started doing everything, okay? And she ended up dying very young. And, you know, so things like this is the things that we want to share with each other. One reason we do. Now, there's some things, y'all, I'm not saying to put it there unless you want to, but for a lot of reasons, I don't mention anybody's name, because if I don't get permission on that, I'm not going to do it, you know. But somehow in this world, it's going to have to change. And I know we've had drugs forever. Everybody tells me that, you know. We've had problems forever. There was even problems in the Bible, you know. But I'm not sure why it got so bad. I'm really not sure. But I pray that all you guys, just all you can do is keep an eye on your kids and your grandkids as best as you can. Because even though I worked and I went to college, my kids were in sports and everything else. I mean, we got a bug in here. I mean, I just tried to keep them busy, and so, I mean, it can happen. It can happen. Even if you're a good parent and you're watching what is going on, who they're with, what have you. So, just be cautious. And, you know, if you guys have a story to share, please go ahead and share it. If you don't want me to use your name, I won't. I'm just trying to show people that, hey, we're not the only ones that are out here suffering from losing someone or not living our life. You know, a lot of people say, you got to go on, you got to live your life, and that's true. But it takes a very long time just to realize that you do need to start living, because life is short. And stuff like this ages you. I can tell you that from experience. I love all you guys. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Let me know anything in the comments that you would like to know about. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Make sure that you hit the little bell next to subscribe, and you'll get our videos. Well, I should say mine, because I'm doing this channel pretty much by myself. And share us out. Share us out, because, you know, I would love to see less people having to get Narcan on the side of the road, and some of them not making it because some of them don't. And fingers crossed for everybody, prayers for everybody. I love all you guys. Make sure you watch all my videos if you can, even if you have to sporadically watch them, because I'm doing a lot of interesting things and different things on each one, and just trying to get everybody in a better mood and to realize that you are not alone. You are not alone. I love y'all. Bye.